Mark. Good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What do you have? Mark, let me hear.
Hey, Chris. Pretty good. So before I get to this basketball game, let me just say I don't know what else is in this bill in Georgia, but to say that having to show an ID is somehow voter restriction, I don't understand that. Maybe somebody
hard to believe. You got to show an ID everywhere you go in life. And somehow
everywhere.
You got. I mean, I don't know how that. I happen to agree with you. And listen, I don't want to get political on it. I didn't know that. I haven't read everything and where they're more restrictive than anywhere else. But so I'm going to lay low on that. But again, my point is, and you know I'm right. He took the bullet for the players. The players are the ones who should have the guts to stay out there and take the bullet. But they didn't. The commissioner did. And I tell you, it wouldn't be nice for once in his life for Tony Clark to show some manhood and come out and say, you know what, give the commissioner credit. He's taking a hit.
They don't do that.
I know they got. I know they got a labor negotiation.
Yeah.
God forbid we give the commissioner an inch. But you think Tony Clark would have the decency to come out and say, you know what, give the commissioner credit. He took the hit. You know, our players are appreciative. Something to at least make him feel better, and not a peep out of him. That's a disgrace. You can tweet that, Eddie. I don't care who gets mad. That's a freaking disgrace. That's simple as that. You can't even define it.
They won't admit anything on that labor thing. But it's just the thing is too. Like I said yesterday, it's just like you can't boycott every time something goes against what you want. Work within the system and get it all changed if you want to do that. It's just too much. But going to the game last night. That was a very similar game to Indiana State and Michigan State in '79.
Very good point.
Gonzaga
very good
could
point.
not handle them.
Yeah, very good comparison.
They couldn't hang with them. And people are saying, well, they were tired out from Saturday night, but Duke played UNLV, and they didn't lose to Kansas Monday night. So if you're really the best team, you got like you said, you got to finish it and put your stamp on the season. Still a great season for them, no doubt. I mean, if you lose in the championship game, you got to be, if Maryland lost in the championship game, I'd be ecstatic, but if you're 31-0, you want to be 32-0.
I think it hurts them a lot. Good call. Mark's a good call, and you're right. Duke beat Vegas, the best team in the country, on Saturday night, 75-71. Somehow they showed up and buried Kansas 2 nights later. NC State beat UCLA. Somehow they showed up and beat Marquette 2 nights later. And North Carolina, and good call by Mark, in 57, beat Michigan State in 3 overtimes. Somehow they showed up 1 night later and overtimed and double overtimed Wilt and Kansas. You're a great team. You figure it out. Here's Glenn in Kentucky. Mad Dog Unleashed. Glenn, your turn. How are you today, pal? What do you have? Glenn.
Hey, Dog. 2 questions. The second one feeds into the first. Dog, nobody knows the history of really, I guess, any sport better than you do. So the question, Dog, is this. For the future, do you think we will ever see, another unbeaten college basketball team?
That's a good question. I'd have to say no. It's been a long, long time. Gonzaga is the team that could do it because of the fact they're going to win every conference game by 100 points. But I think that maybe that unbeaten thing got to them a little bit. You saw Kentucky with a chance a few years ago. They fell apart too. I think the pressure wears on these kids. So for the hell of it, it's been since 1975, 76. That's 45, 50 years ago. So I will say at the moment that will not happen again. How's that? Go ahead.
Yes, and Dog, then secondly, dovetailing out of this, and I'm from Indiana and love Coach Knight. So the question is, Dog, everybody knows the chair. I mean, we could be in Nova Scotia. Coach Knight, oh, yeah, he's the one that knows the chair. So my question, Dog, will Coach Knight go down in his first paragraph, that we've all heard this cliche, the first paragraph of his obituary, is he's the one that threw the chair, or he's the one that had the last unbeaten college basketball team?
It won't be the chair. It will be the unbeaten team. That's a good call, Glenn.
Oh, cool.
It won't be the chair. I mean, that's going to be in paragraph 2. But I think that I would think the word legendary would appear first. And you can say what you want about Knight. And I know Knight's got a lot of issues, and he bully and everything else. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. If I had a kid who was a great player and go anywhere he wants and in his prime, I'd have no problem sending him to Bobby Knight. None. Zero. I know he'd graduate. I'll tell you that. Here's Jim in Jersey. He's at Mad Dog Unleashed. Jim, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What's going on? Jim.
Hey, Dog. How are you?
All right, Jimmy.
Didn't hear all your comments on MLB moving the All-Star game, but the ones I heard I agree with. Want to shift from college basketball. Just I'm a Mets fan. Obviously, another disaster for deGrom last night.
Right.
And you can blame it. Look, you point at the relief pitching, which has been the problem the last 3 seasons. Let's hope it was an aberration last night. But where in the world does it say that the Mets have to pull deGrom or any of their starting pitchers after 6 innings? This has been going on for years now. They say he's got 100 pitches he can throw tonight. He throws 77 through 6. He only threw 9 in the 6th inning, and they pulling the guy. He could have pitched through 8 last night, and they wouldn't have had the problem. They would have won the game.
Well, then that's a good point, Jim. Let's refresh people's memory. deGrom last night, 77 pitches. He got taken out after 6 innings. The 7th inning was a clean inning, so you can't go too crazy on that inning. But in the 8th inning, the Phillies got 5 runs, and they beat the Mets 5-3. Now, here is the stat about deGrom. Since 2018, the Mets, and deGrom's got a 2.08 ERA, okay? Since 2018, he's got a 2.08 ERA, and I believe the Mets are like 35-41 in his starts. Some crazy number like that. Way under 500. Go ahead.
He has started with leaving the game with 1 run or less, 1 or zeros, and he's either gotten no decision or a loss 31 times in that time frame you just mentioned. And I agree with you, the 7th inning was clean, but had he pitched through the 7th inning, and either the relief comes in or 8 or he pitches through 8, you don't know what would have happened. Because they had to put him in the 7th inning, you know?
Well, the only thing I would say about that is that the 7th inning, the 8th inning start, if the guy who pitched the 8th inning was going to pitch the 8th inning. It wasn't like if he pitched the 7th that we would have moved everybody back an inning. They were going to start, and good call, Glenn. They were going to start Trevor May in that 8th inning, and he gave up the 5 runs. The issue with deGrom is, no, he's not Sandy Koufax, as Gary Cohen tried to tell me last night, that if you look at deGrom in the last 3 or 4 years, his stats, he did say that if he puts 2 or 3 more like this, there's nobody who's Koufax, all right? So don't compare anybody, anywhere, any sport, to Sandy Koufax. That's absurd. Sandy Koufax threw 300 innings. 1.7 ERAs. He never had any runs to work with. Same sort of situation that deGrom has. So don't compare anybody to Koufax. But deGrom is a hell of a pitcher who doesn't get a lot of help. That's to make a long story short. Here's Khalid in Brick Township, New Jersey, and he's with us here. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Khalid, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What's going on? Khalid.
Listen, today really on your watch, we heard Howard, he announced that's the end of his contract. He was talking about retirement blessings. Are you shocked when he mentioned about mortality? The way how he thinks about...
That was. Howard today said basically this is his last contract. No, I'm sure he said this before. He's got 4 years to go. So, I don't know if I'd reach... A lot can happen in 4 years. Theoretically, you'd make sense, his last contract. Okay. But Howard's worried about death, like we all are. When you get to be 60 years old, you start to think about it. Go ahead, there, Khalid. What else?
One more thing. You should give him a letter to you. CD from Bruce Springsteen, and he will listen to all this life after that. Death after life, sometimes like that. It's amazing. I was surprised. You didn't go that far with the Bruce or with him, probably.
No, I didn't go to Bruce because he likes, and Khalid, good call. He likes more the early 70s music, and since I'm more into that right now, that is the direction that I went into. All right, lots to do. 5:30. We got a sports bite. It's Bob Gallerstein. We'll come right back to you, and we're on Mad Dog Unleashed.